Good Friday, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon. Thank you for being on my page, Consciousness with Carly. I'm going to wait a sec for everybody to come on before we have our guests come on. We're going to talk about astrological placements and what's going on in the energies today. We do need to play with my audio a little bit, so I'm going to need your guys' help. I have my mic plugged in right now, but for some reason, when I have a guest join, my audio just goes to crap, and I don't know how to fix it. So we're going to try a few things. So let's get Pernell Bobby on here, and we will see how things sound. Let me know in the comments right now how it sounds. It always sounds good until I add somebody to the video. Once I add someone to the video, it just sounds like really bad. So we're going to see what we can do with that today. And let's add him on. I just want to say that everybody is welcome in this space. I do this so we can just come together, talk about what's going on and why we're feeling certain ways. So feel free to comment about how you're feeling so we can all generally get an idea of why maybe certain things are feeling a certain way. I do know for sure I've been having really weird dreams. I don't know if anybody else has been feeling that, but I almost feel like they're kind of attacking. Like things feel attacky right now. And I've actually seen others talk about this. Like if you listen to Ireland Clark, I love her, she's a friend of mine. She's been talking about the higher that we are in light, obviously, the more shadows are coming in. So, all right, let me get him on real quick. Oh, I tried to add you. And we need to play with my audio because it's not working. I'm trying to accept you, but it just keeps saying decline. Maybe it'll work soon. Hey, buddy.
Hey, what's going on?
It's good. Can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I don't have you in my headphones because once I put my AirPods in, it screws up the audio. So
I know. I've been dealing with that issue for years.
Really? With Instagram Live?
I mean, I've been doing it through YouTube. It's a lot easier in many ways. I mean, just the whole like getting a microphone that you can hear that doesn't pick up background noise and still being able to talk. Like it's easy one way, right?
Yeah.
I gotta be able to get this a little higher.
Yeah, me too.
I know, right? I'm like, hey, can you see my mouth?
I'm like, sorry, you're only gonna get half of my head.
I know, right?
All right,
so
how have you
so
been
what it do?
feeling?
Well, it is Cancer full moon today, so everybody can imagine this is the most emotional day of the year.
All right, and we're in Mercury Retrograde. I was feeling that one really strong yesterday. I was like gacking, like grinding my teeth. I was like, argh.
Yeah, Mercury retrograde is one of those things where it can be tough, but it's actually really easy to navigate if you use and do and integrate, what you're studying, what you're learning, in alignment. And that's not easy, Like we talk about alignment all the time, but to actually do it, usually Mercury retrograde would just be, this has been the easiest retrograde for me, this particular one. And I also have had retrogrades in Mercury that have just completely jacked me up. But usually it's only when we focus on force. Retrograde really hurts us when we use force. When we use flow, retrograde usually will just kind of let you know what to do, what not to do, and it'll show you, are you listening to alignment or not? It usually kind of gets that simple. But at the same time, I'm also saying that knowing astrology, so I can kind of forecast it up front and be like, look, this is what it's asking. So when I don't do it, I don't really have much to complain about because I know, like, I didn't do what I know I should have or could have did to avoid this. And then there's other times where it's like, all right, I forced it anyways. I didn't care. I drank a coffee and I went hard all day anyways. And I said, And that's usually when I get annoyed. So, this one, I learned a lot of lessons from previous retrogrades. So it just depends, it depends on how we decide to take it. And like I said, it does help when you know the transit, how it's going to impact. And for today, it is the Cancer full moon. Maybe by the last 20 minutes or so, I want to give a forecast for each person's rising sign. So if you want to cut out the last 20 minutes, I'll give a forecast. I have it right here. I did it for all 12
Please
zodiacs.
I
So
want you to do that.
for sure. Let's see if this keeps me high enough. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's much better. All right, cool. I only have about 7 books stacked underneath this, but it works.
Okay. Improvise.
Absolutely. So how you doing? My first time coming on with you.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm doing good. I was having really weird dreams last night, like kind of like nightmarish dreams. Like I was running from really dark entities, like not really running from them, but like it was strange. Like I knew they were there, and I was like in a big city with like all these people, and I just couldn't get through the people. Like there was so many people, and I was just like, move! Like I need to get out of here! Like
yeah.
And I don't. Everywhere. It was weird.
I've worked with a dream coach, maybe for like 2 months. And again, like it's just me kind of knowing my own transit. So what I'll say is, I know this is your channel. I'm gonna give you an option. I'm gonna give you option A or option B. Option A is you want me to help dissect what that was about. I'll do it now. Option B, you can say yes, but tell me later in private. It's up to you.
Oh, I think you should do it now. Because it was all about like packing our bags like at a hotel room and trying to get out, and couldn't find a car, couldn't get through the people, couldn't find where our car was. It's lost somewhere, and there was just way too many people, way too many cars, and no one had a clue what was going on, but it was affecting everybody, but nobody knew what was going on except for me and my best friend.
What is your sign, out of curiosity? What's your zodiac?
Capricorn.
Even your sun sign.
Capricorn.
Okay. What about your Mercury?
I don't know. I don't even know. I'm not into astrology like you are. So you're my teacher. You're my coach.
Okay, cool. So it is highly likely that you have a Capricorn Mercury. Highly likely. Because when you know your sun sign, usually it only could be 30 degrees, your Mercury. It could be 30 degrees plus or minus. So generally, I think like 80% of people who have a sun sign, or they know their sun sign, they know their Mercury. Like I said, about 80%, because it could go to sign before and it could go to sign after. So it could technically be Aquarius or it could be Sagittarius, but usually it's going to be Capricorn again. Usually. And so should that be true, this one will affect you a lot more. And it already kind of gives me a lot of clarity on what your dream was about. So if you want to take a stab at that, I shall.
Yes.
So I work with human design as well. And I actually have in my unconscious, my soul chart, like more my karmic placement, I have a Capricorn and Mercury as well. So I am in Aries, for example. I'm in Aries Sun, I'm in Aries Mercury, both. And, but in my soul chart, your soul comes into conception before your physical body 88 degrees prior. So I take my sun, which is at 24 degrees. I go back 88 degrees, and I actually am a Capricorn sun. When my soul was conceived, this is more karmic duty, karmic purposes, very different from my ego self, my human body, yada, 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 when I was physically born as a baby, right? And my Mercury is also in Capricorn. So this is a good sample, actually, from what I said earlier in the call, because this Mercury retrograde is where? It's in Capricorn right now. This Mercury retrograde is in Capricorn. So Capricorn is a feminine energy. And, to any feminine and masculine, to any feminine energy, but Capricorn specifically, Capricorn is all about authenticity. Okay. Mercury in your dream showed up as forms of transport. Transportation is usually you're trying to either move somewhere or you can't go somewhere, right? There, it could be back and forth. Mm-hmm. Based off of what I heard in your dream, can you tell me again, you said you were trying to pack up?
Mm-hmm. And we didn't have time to pack up all of our stuff, so I just took what was necessary to get out.
Okay, boom. So Capricorn represents being at the top of the mountain and seeing all the resources that you currently have now, not adding more, not taking away less. It's like, look, where I'm actually at now. What am I sitting on top of now? But Capricorn is all about the efficiency. So it's like, look, we got to be the most efficient with what we have, period. And it's a feminine energy. So it's about, it has the ability to destroy, literally chaos energy, dark feminine, which will say, this isn't necessary, this isn't necessary, this isn't necessary. The only things that are necessary, now that I have all the data, which AKA Virgo season would have gave you that. What is that, September to August? Mm-hmm. Everything that happened in Virgo season, you already collected the data through analyzation. And from September to August, you've refined all that data. And that's when you get to the next earth sign, Virgo to Capricorn. And Cap says, okay, Virgo, what we got? Give me the data sheets. And Cap is just looking at it like a boss. And it's like, all right, everybody here is just not, this whole group is not necessary. Okay, these two people, I need them in finance. All right, these two people, I need them to do my creative art. I don't have the time because I'm the big boss, so I have to delegate and tell people what to do. So that's kind of what Capricorn is doing, and your dream was signifying that. So again, when I said Capricorn is about authenticity, and this is the season we're in, right? The sun is still in Capricorn, Mercury is in Capricorn. Venus just went to Aquarius, but which means it completed our value system update of what we need to understand about Capricorn before it went to Aquarius. So all of this is saying, when you talk about anything transportation, equates to how you're moving in your life. So what it's saying is there's a lot of things that are not necessary. A lot of things are happening that are not necessary. And on top of that, Capricorn is about angular professional relationships. When I say angular, I mean pushing forward for authentic relationships in your career, in your business. So something like right now, we're doing a live. It's saying, do not take inauthentic people on your lives. That's one thing right off the rip. It's saying anybody that's working in inauthenticity as a feminine energy, cut them out. It's like it's too much, because what's happening is people are recognizing your influence. Even if they recognize it more than you, they recognize your influence. And as a part of that, they want to get on the ship. And Capricorn has the ability, like Capricorn, it has the ability, not that it should, but it has the ability to take everybody on the ship. Again, not that it should. That's a big ass difference. Not that it should, but it has the ability, and it likes to, if I think about myself, and any Capricorns are the type to be like, oh, you don't have a home? Hey, I have an extra room. I have an extra room. You can stay there. Stay there till you get on your feet. But the thing is, as much as it can do that for everybody, that doesn't mean it should. In Virgo, aka that season where they gave you the data. And so whether you listen to that or not, now that Capricorn's here, it's like, look, cuts must be made, because I need to make this next stage of where I'm going, I need to make it very efficient. And so it's like, and I'm laughing. I live in Mexico right now. I'm actually in Mexico right now, and I'm laughing, but it's almost like the joke where it's like, you got 15 Puerto Ricans in a car, all getting transported, right? But what happens? That car is heavy. If you needed to drive fast and take a corner, right, that car might tip over. So retrograde is showing you, hey, where can you be efficient with these relationships? And instead of taking any and everybody, make sure you only take the right people. And I know that this is really close because, again, the fact that you and I are on the line, I've been going through this in my own life. So, right. So we always energetically match when we energetically match, right? We talked about this live, I don't even know, a month and a half ago or something like that. But only right now are we actually getting on it.
Yeah.
So energetically, I could tell you where I'm at in my own life. It's like, it's exactly what I just said in reverse. That, I started hitting decline a lot more. And there's a lot of us coming into our true worth of like, look, you know what, P? I need to just value myself to the fact where it's like, I can't be doing lives with anybody. I need to do this in integrity. And that's what Capricorn is acting for. It's acting to be responsible, do it in integrity, to create relationships that are actually in alignment. So it's like, for me, it's almost like, if I'm working with somebody that's not in the conscious mindset, I'm already out of integrity. I'm being inauthentic. I'm literally being inauthentic. So it's like when I make a relationship with you, part of it already in my mind is in your name. Consciousness with Carly. So you yourself are claiming consciousness, that you are conscious. So me, myself, I'm already making my mental Mercury, our mental processing, how we study, how we learn, and how we integrate it. I'm already aligning with, if people are not conscious, I can't talk to them. I can't talk to a bozo, period. I just can't. I refuse. And it's just, so already, again, this is the mirror of you and I right now. And that's just how that's. So if I look at that dream, and again, I didn't get too crazy to the dream itself. I kind of combined the transits happening and just that little piece. But for simplicity, anytime we're having a nightmare, it's just a simple rule of thumb. It usually means that in our waking life, things are out of alignment without a doubt. When you talk cars or anything transportation, it means if you're stuck and you're stationary, it means that's your dream world is reflecting that something is trying to move, but before it does, it needs to happen methodically. And that's what Capricorn does. Capricorn is method, is strategy. It's you can't, it's working and operating from a billionaire mindset. And billionaires don't become billionaires by accident. They have strategy. They're patient. They wait. They invest in the right people. They invest in the right relationships. Everything they invest in is authentic. Even if it only matters to you, but also to your karmic mission. And this is what matters, because Capricorn is, once you get to Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, those are no longer humans. They're not humans. So Capricorn, you, me on my soul level, these have karmic missions. These people are not reincarnated to just lollygag and just be in your body. They actually have a true duty that they need to actually maintain a certain sense of discipline in order to fulfill that karmic responsibility, that karmic contract that you made before you were born again. So that's why, again, it must be in integrity. It has to be, because it's like, look, Capricorn represents time manipulation as well. It's like, look, we don't have the time to do things that are out of alignment. We just don't, right? Because you're going to relive the cycle. Now, again, this is one dream. So I'm speaking about it from an energetic standpoint of Capricorn as an energy. Somebody says, no. Capricorn has to say no and be real with it. Like I'm telling you, my no has become so savage. I'm almost like looking at myself in the mirror and I'm like, Tia, you just savage. And it's like, actually, I've been this way. But when I wasn't being that way, I was being inauthentic.
Yeah, I know it. I've cut off so many people in the last 6 months that I love, but it's just that there's such a deep inauthenticity, like you're saying, that it's actually detrimental to my spiritual mission to have them connected to me. And I'm not willing to let that happen at this point. And so it's less pain to cut them out than it is to keep them in. And I know for a fact with my team, beyond even relationships, a lot of it was feeling the need to do something different. Like I really want to break the cycle of having to work out in the world the way that it is. And I think a lot of us are going through that because we're trying to break those cycles. And so I'm like, what can I do? What can I do? Right. And I'm sitting there stressed. So I tried doing new things, different videos, different things. Well, then it got to the point where I started not enjoying it. And I'm like, nope. If I'm not enjoying it and I don't have passion, it's not for me. Nope. And that's this week. I got clarity. Oh my God, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Go back to basics, get simple, and make the space that you wanted to make and bring people on to share their wisdom. Like, that is what I want to do right now. And that's why I connected with you. Me and Nuraj have been friends for a year. And I saw you guys together, and I'm like, oh, if he's friends with Pernell Bobby, I'm friends with Pernell Bobby. You know what I mean? Like,
shout out to Nuraj in the chat. I see him just joined in. I see him just joined in. Energy, baby. Energy.
Dude, chills.
Energy. I love me some Nuraj. I literally love me some Nuraj, man. Like, he starts talking, the wisdom starts spilling out, and I'm like, man, this kid is the truth. Like, he's the future. He's part of the big future. Yes. I know it in my heart.
So I that's crazy. fucking love that kid. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it got to the point where I'm like, oh my gosh, I just needed some clarity. And you know, sometimes you have to push yourself out and get more complex in order to realize that the simplicity is where you're supposed to be.
Right.
You know? And that's where I
Capricorn.
got to. So
Capricorn is simplicity. You know, when I say, like, the thing is, Capricorn is the most efficient sign, and part of efficiency is simplicity.
yeah.
So with the car having, like, what am I gonna take? What am I gonna take? Capricorn is an earth sign, so you always talk about material things, right? It's like, do I have space for my iPad? Okay, it's like, do I have space for my painting? Oh no, the painting, you know, it's not efficient. Like, I can paint a new one. Okay, painting has to go. You know,
Yeah.
do I have space for my plant? No, you know what? I'm gonna donate the plant. I can buy a new plant because, you know, this is what we worked to have resources for, to be able to have a plant. And so, you know, to be able to buy a plant whenever and on demand. So, you know, simplicity, it's like only taking, the dream was showing, only take what's necessary. Everything else is disposable, period.
And the girl
And
in the dream just popped on too. That's my best friend. It's not the endo me. That
okay.
that's her.
What's up,
She
best
was
friend?
in my
What's up, best
dream
friend?
last night. She'll have to rewatch this. But yeah.
Okay.
So there's tons of synchronicities happening right now.
What's her name?
Chelsea.
Okay, so whenever you have a dream, you must Google the name. Google the name meaning of Chelsea, because it will add extra pieces of clarity of what was your dream trying to tell you. The name, you know, I'm not going to get lost. I was going to do it, and I was like, I'm not going to get lost in trying to, I'm going to leave that to you. That's your little baby homework assignment. Google the name Chelsea, and then you're going to get more pieces to the puzzle about what your soul, your spirit is asking you to do. You know, the sun, the piece that says this, actually, the sun is the spirit. So, you know, you as a Capricorn sun, you know, your spirit is asking you, what is it gave you a clue. It gave you a piece to the puzzle, the full puzzle, right? Which says Google Chelsea's name, and then reapply that meaning of her name itself, whatever Chelsea means, to the dream.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll do that.
Absolutely.
Do you want to get into everybody else's like signs and what you wanted to do? Because I'm really interested.
I could definitely do that. So, like I said, I have forecasts here.
Oh, Neeraj said, when's your B-day to me? My birthday's Christmas Eve, so I'm a Capricorn.
Cat.
I know me and him have had this conversation like 6 times in the last year, and I still don't remember his signs either, so.
He's a Sagittarius, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, him and I did a reading. I'm pretty sure he's a Sag. Wow. So I can't confirm. Is Christmas Eve the 24th? 24th, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking, but it is right in alignment. So, you know, I had some good friends that I met over the years in multiple different countries with all the same birthday. It was not Christmas Eve, but it was right around that time. The irony is, like I said, I consider them good friends, yet and still they're not in my life today. They didn't make the cut. Right? And so I say that to say, this is the irony of right now I'm on a live with you. And now I know that you, again, I don't think it's the same day, but it's close enough. And I'm going to leave it out because this is the internet. I had to start learning, like, you know what? I can't say everything. Now here's the exchange. You see what I'm saying? So it was almost like when we make our cuts to do something more efficient, like they were efficient at phases and stages of my life. But Capricorn, Aquarius, and Libra, all a part of Saturn, they can hold on to friendships way past their due date. Yeah. Because it's like you know, time equates to loyalty, it equates to stability. It's like, oh man, it's my friend for 15 years. And one of the parts that Capricorn, Aquarius, and Libra can suffer with when it comes to friendships and connections is they can hold on to them way past their due date just because of the time factor alone. And it was a tough lesson for me, honestly, you know, to actually make that cut, realizing that something more aligned. And that's the key word, aligned, something more aligned to who I am today, not who I was, is waiting for me always. And that's the irony, because you're the same as a Capricorn. That's the irony that as you make long-term cuts with things that are not in alignment, you know, if people grow with you, then rock with it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't just start cutting people senselessly. But when they're not aligned, you have to start managing the amount of time you and I and everybody that we give, especially Capricorn, Aquarius. I was just talking about this today with my partner and Libra, because friendship matters to us, and what we qualify as a friendship, a lot of time is due to the time that we've been friends with them. Because Saturn is the father of time. It's time manipulation. Marriage and I actually did a time manipulation live, specifically on Capricorn. Boom, specifically on Capricorn. And so, you know, what they're used for a lot of times is that friendship still, even if it's not physically maintained, like, hey, what's up? How you doing? Even if it's not physically maintained, Capricorn uses time in conjunction with like Cancer, aka nostalgia. So it uses it as a base of growth, a base of development. And it says, look, here's where I was. And I don't talk to any of these people anymore, but they are always present in my memory, in my life, to show me where I am. Here's where I was. And they're always dear in my heart, but they also are not in my life, to show me how far did I grow from 15 years to now. Yeah. And the whole part that's tough about this is, like, you know, how we consider and deem friendships, how we consider and deem relationships. And this matters because today is the Cancer full moon. So this is actually a lot about what I'm about to talk about now. This really matters because it's the nostalgia. It's the memory. Today, I've been ridiculously emotional. And anybody that says they're not emotional on Cancer full moons, Cancer new moons, they're liars. Literally, they're just not being real. And today, on this Cancer full moon, I've been tremendously emotional. And those emotions, they need the space to allow us to integrate. And so the whole thing about generational curses and cutting ties, that's not it. It's about the integration. It's the integration. It's not just cutting just to cut. It's the integration. It's the transmutation. That's the key. Transmuting what we consider curses and recognizing that any curse comes with a gift. You know what I'm saying? And so when we start really diving into that, we start being able to send blessings to those same foundational people, because you know what? Us as Capricorn type energies, we're never going to let them go, even if they're not in our lives. Never, never, for all time. I will always look back at these relationships and I will always send them love. And I know very well that love does not equate to I have to call them to tell them I missed them. And sometimes it might be, but it just depends on who the person is. It depends on who the person is. But usually, if I'm being honest, it equates to an energetic, blessing. Me just wishing them well in my prayers. When I eat and it's like, hey, you know what? Like, thank you for that relationship back in 1996. Because really, like, it was you that helped me get here in 2023. And they will receive that. They will receive that love. If they're open, that's the key, right? Because they could be bitter, they could be, resentful, whatever, and it doesn't matter. That's not your part. That's not my part. I sent it out. Whether somebody else can or cannot receive, that's up to them. It truly, truly is. But at the end of the day, I'm going to keep my side of the street clean. And what that looks like for me is I'm going to send you love anyways. Even if it didn't end how I wish it did, or we didn't go as far as I wish you could have, you know what I'm saying? Like, even if, it doesn't matter. It's just like, look, at the end of the day, I can send you praise. I can send you appreciation. You know what I'm saying? And also still realize that you don't belong at this stage of my life.
Right. Yep. That's what a lot of us have had to do recently, and what I've had to do too with family. People will ask me, how do you get away from like toxic family members? And it's like, there's no right answer for that, you guys. It's all up to you and like what you feel like is necessary for your growth. And you know, like I've had to cut people off that were my best friend and my family, and I still love them, and I don't have any bad feelings. I'm not even mad. Even through
Mm-mm.
all of this stuff they put me through, I'm not even mad. It is not even there. I'm just like, I love you, but I can't have you in this phase of my life, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. No, no, no. It's the same for me. You know, I'm getting ready. 2 days ago, I just booked a flight back into the States, and I got a good man of mine's getting married, and I know plenty of the family that's going to be there that have actively wished bad upon me, and it's just like that's just okay. Like that's actually not my problem. Especially as we start aligning with like, well, why? And like when we get to the why, we start remembering and recalling, quite frankly, that it's like I know where I'm going. I know why I'm going there. Okay, that's more masculine energy. It's more purpose and direction. And it's like a part of that knowing. It's like as I reflect, which Cancer full moon is all about. Again, like I said, nostalgia, memory, reflection. Okay, emoting, just feeling the feeling, sensitivity. It's all these things. It's like it's being able to feel and look back. It's like, damn, you know, I got aunts that hated me at like 6 years old. But why? Like I can't comprehend that. I didn't know it at 6. But as I look and reflect back, it's like, oh, I see why. And then it's a remembrance, it's a moment to remember that I didn't come here to solve her particular issues. I have a karmic duty. I have a karmic obligation. And it goes well above this one single person. And in fact, it's for me to thank her. Because first off, when I was that young, I had no idea. So I kept on just being a kid. I just kept keeping on, right? Like I just kept being myself. I had no idea. It didn't matter. It's only, 15, 20 years later, I'm able to sit there and reflect and be like, oh. And then when we use it the right way, it becomes fuel. It becomes fuel because it's like, in all sincerity, when I look at it, she just never deconditioned. That's it. It's not a problem. That's not good or bad. It just is. That's not an issue. So I don't need to, when I now discover this, I don't need to start hating her. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to start like, disowning her as my family. It's just like, man, that's motivation to be the deconditioning, not directly to her, but allowing that deconditioning to be an indirect effect of my personal success.
Yeah.
And
You
that's why
really
I
hit
feel
it
like
with words.
you know what I'm saying? That's why I feel like it's
Yeah.
important not to think about, man, who do I need to cut? When do I need to cut them? Okay, you're cut. Because then it's too simple. We should know that like when it's something so simple, like, oh, all I gotta do is just cut them off. It's like, no, it's about integrating what the lesson is. Because Saturn, who is the ruler of Capricorn, okay, who is exalted in Libra, and who is dignified in Aquarius, aka very homely. Okay, they're very homely. They know how to be there. Those three signs, they know how to be there. All right, and it falls in Cancer. Okay, which is family, the divine mother, nurturing. It falls. It does not do well in Cancer. Okay, when we look at that, it's like the integration. Saturn itself is the teacher. It is the teacher of the zodiac. It is the one that says, what you put in, I will give back to you. But I'm not going to give it on your time. I'm going to give it when you're ready to receive it, right? Because think about it. If we just start working towards a goal just to get the result, then we pretty much usually always miss the lesson. So Saturn's like, no, when you get the lesson, when you understand what I was trying to teach you, I'll give you the rewards. And that's not based off of your egoic needs for recognition. That's based off of your actual actions that you put in, the reality, the authenticity. Not because, oh, if I get to this, then I get that. It's like, no, I'm just going this way because it feels right to me, because it's in alignment with me. And then you just happen to get those rewards back in return. Happen. And it's not even about happening. It's like, look, like the thing that's beautiful about Saturn, you know, everybody fears their Saturn return. Everybody looks at Saturn like it's this demon. Everybody look at the Saturn like it's the devil. And actually, it is the devil card in tarot. It is the devil card in tarot. Capricorn is the devil card in tarot. But it's looking at it and it's asking us, how do we deal with our temptations? Our temptation to connect with somebody because we know that they're going to give us an extra 100 followers. Right? But the whole thing about it is there's no such thing as good and bad in this particular, any karmic planets, right? Like I said, these are God energies. Okay? Every one of the zodiac has a God frequency. Every single one of the zodiac. But especially when you get to Sag, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces, these are God frequencies. And God frequencies do not think about good and bad. Right? You can't think of that an angel was good and the devil was bad, because you know what? The devil can lead you through a temptation, and that temptation that you either took or you didn't take will lead you to a higher lesson, a lesson that is actually for your evolution. And angels, people think angels are good, and it's like I talk to angels on a regular basis, and quite frankly, they do more damage than what we consider bad.
I know.
You know what I mean? They'll take you through the blender just to teach you a lesson.
Yeah. I agree 100% with that. Yeah, when I'm not getting my way, I know exactly who it is and what's helping and pushing me, and I'm like, okay.
Right.
And if you keep pushing, it'll just get worse.
I get it entirely.
Yeah.
So I'm getting ready to pull up the forecast. So just to show you, this is a little complicated in the moment. It's an Excel sheet. All right. So you see zodiacs on the sign, and then going across the top, you'll see the planets. Oh, wait. You'll see You'll see the planets going across. So I did this. Actually, my partner did this for the Cancer full moon, but all the planets currently in the sky. Okay. At the Cancer full moon. Right? It's super sick. And so you see all these numbers. I just want to show people how complicated it is. Like, you cannot continue to think for yourself that, oh, I'm a Capricorn or I'm an Aries, right? Because if you look just at the top, Aries is the first zodiac. It's going through all of these different transits at the same time. So if you only consider, oh, I'm just an Aries, it's like, well, Aries is going through a 10th house, a 4th house, a 10th house again in a different planet, which is a different influence, an 11th house, a 3rd house, okay, 2 different extra planets, a 1st house, an 11th house again, a 2nd house, a 12th house, and a 10th house. That's Aries. You know what I'm saying? So like it does have its complications, but when you understand it, it can get much simpler. It can get much simpler. But what I'm saying is, it's like these influences, these planets, they do influence us here on Earth. And it is so much more, right? If you think about, like, when you're in high school, you're in middle school, you're like, oh, you know, you hear something, you read. I know, like, my parents, for example, they used to read zodiac horoscopes in a newspaper. That's great, right? The problem is they didn't really know what they were looking for. They were looking for only their sun sign, one sign, which is a strong one. So there will be some accuracy. At the same time, when you're actually forecasting for somebody, you're looking for their rising sign. Right? First, and then the sun sign would, in a sense, a second priority, because the rising sign will show you the direction of what you're going, and the sun will complement that direction with consciousness, willpower, ambition. And the moon will show you what you're emotionally going through in that process. And Mercury will show you how to actually, emphasize this and integrate this and learn this and study this, right? And Venus will show you what were you valuing to the point of addiction, but also to the point of, how can you monetize this value system? And Pluto will show you, but before you do that, here's how you need to understand the transformation process, right? And then you got Neptune saying, oh, by the way, we gave you a couple of delusions and illusions and fantasy because you thought you knew something. So I need to actually confuse you to take you off course, like the elephant. When the elephant will put an obstacle in its way in order to redirect you in a divine feminine manner to the right position, right? So I just wanted to kind of like highlight that for everybody listening before I give this, so you can understand at a deeper level that you can no longer consider yourself your sun sign, and simply that's it. It's just irrevocably wrong. it will lead you astray. It will lead you astray. And everybody deep in their soul, as they hear this, they know that. They know that, like, man, you know what? If I read this, it sounds like all these horoscopes work for me. Well, there's a fucking reason. There's a reason why, because technically they all do, but you don't know where. And that's the real problem. You don't know where and how they're working for you all in conjunction, because they are all working for and with you. So, Cancer full moon, all right? This is the Cancer full moon at the 16th degree specifically. And this is important because 16th degree is a degree of Cancer itself, all right? The 4th degree, the 16th degree, and 28th degree are all degrees of Cancer. Now, the 16th degree said, the 4th degree, the first Cancer would say this is a very young Cancer, not the youngest, not the most authentic form of Cancer, but one step into its own evolution. Because 0 of any sign would be the most pure form of the sign itself. So Cancer at 0 degrees would be the most authentic form, of the purest form, unadulterated. No evolution. This is just what's raw. Okay. Now 4th degree would say, hey, there are 3 levels in the step. You now have made it through your first form of evolution. You have become more of an individual. That's step 1. 16th degree, which this moon is at right now, says you've made it through the second stage of evolution. And now you know how to integrate what you learned at a personal level interpersonally at the 16th degree, which means you can use those abilities with other people, not just for yourself. You didn't just come to an understanding for yourself. You're not just primitively being yourself. You now can use this with people. Okay, great. Now, 28th degree, which is where it would theoretically be heading, okay, because it's going to go up. It's going to keep rising until 29. It'll switch signs. 28th degree would say something like, okay, you are the furthest thing away from Cancer itself. You have basically near completed. You only got one more degree till you go critical, and then you leave. So you've officially learned all of the lessons of Cancer, of what Cancer was trying to teach you. And then you're going to go to Leo, right? So 16th degree is right in the middle, right? It's literally right in the middle, from the left to the right. It's right in the middle. And the 16th degree, when you talk Cancer, you talk about privacy. You talk about what is hidden. You talk about water, aka being able to dive into ancestry, being able to dive into intuition underneath the surface. And it's about reactivating and rejuvenating gifts that have always been there, but dormant. So this is why they call it the wolf's moon, okay, or the moon after the Yule. If you check my story, you'll see my partner actually put a little, description up, so I won't go too deep into that. You just check my story, you'll see it. It's up today. And what it says is, it's the revealing of special abilities that have always been there, but they have been dormant. And this is what the winter solstice, which kind of began around your birthday, okay, around Christmas Eve or so, the winter solstice, which is about introspection, it's about slowing down. It's like, look, seasons have changed, and it's saying, can you feel into your personal growth and development at an emotional level, at an intuitive level, at a spiritual level, and so much more. So the wolf's moon is what? How do wolves travel? How do wolves travel?
In a pack?
In a pack. So it's now saying, right, the wolf's moon is saying, okay, this blessing that we are revealing that has been dormant, that has been latent in power, is the pack that has been traveling before you were born. Eons and eons and eons and eons prior. Cancer has the ability to tap into prehistoric forms of intuition. Prehistoric. I'm talking dinosaurs and earlier. The crab is not the only, but it is one of the animals that have been alive since 65 million plus years, aka prehistoric, pre-dinosaurs, and it is still alive. And its mutation is still in some form a crab. Most other things have already mutated. The crab has sustained its family, its heritage, and its culture. So when you talk about the wolf's moon, the family's pack, the wolf will, during this time of the year, if you're deep in the Arctic or you're deep in some, wolf territory, wherever wolves live, right? And that's all over the world, right? If you're deep in those territories around this time, the wolves are howling. Ooh, they're howling at the moon. But what they're howling to do is they're reactivating our DNA at an ancestral level. And they're saying, hey, you have gifts that are being reignited. They've been there. They have been dormant. We are waking them up because the full moon always brings an illumination. It always brings things into the light. Okay. Like last night I was riding my bike. I was going to play basketball and I'm looking up and I'm like, damn, this full moon is beautiful. And it was talking to me. It was talking to me on my whole bike ride. And it was like, he's ready. He's ready. Give him more. Give him more. Now, the key with this is it's all about what we've been disciplined. Areas that we have maintained discipline. Because again, like I said, Saturn or Cancer falls in Saturn. It does not do well. Because Saturn says, look, we need, in this full moon, it matters, okay? It says we need to hold back the tears a little bit. We need to build up the pressure. Because through pressure, we make diamonds. So if you can hold back the emotions, you can feel them for yourself and not share them long enough, they will build a certain pressure where you feel like, I'm just about to burst. I'm just about to burst. I just need to share something. I need to get it out of me. And when you finally do, and what's magical is there's been a trine happening. Oh no, a sextile, which doesn't really matter the difference in the moment. It just says we have now a sextile with Uranus, which Uranus is more futuristic in nature. It says you have energy coming from the future and it's meeting energy from the past. Cancer is the past, Uranus is the future. And all of it is going to be a certain sense of intuition that meets in our body. And we're going to essentially on this full moon really need to stay home. Your best bet is to stay home. Cancer is to home. It's a divine month. Stay home. Because everybody in the world right now is at a higher form of sensitivity. So, and it's water. So water is absorptive, right? You look at this, Nearest did this with me. If you yell at water, it will hold anger. If you bless water, it will bless you back when you drink it, right? Water is absorptive. It will hold energy. So stepping outside of your home for too much or for too long will actually, you'll absorb energy that's not yours right now at a higher degree, okay? Like think of it like, wolves get crazy on full moons. This is the time frame, today. And you'll kind of, you'll get the gifts of somebody that you came in contact with. I highly recommend you do not touch anybody. And I'm telling you this where like I live with my partner and I went for a walk this morning and she came back, she tried to give me a hug and I was like, not now. I literally said it. I was like, not now. Because before I even took my walk, I felt her emoting. I felt her going through emotion. She was singing, right? It was beautiful. It was a beautiful sound. And I was like, I love that sound, but I got to get the fuck up out of here. I got to get out of here because I realized her heritage, her culture, and she's Mexican, right? So she has a whole different heritage, a whole different culture than my own. And I was like, not right now. I was like, not right now. And that's even my own partner who lives with me. So understand what I'm saying. Like, part of me is able to see that objectively, right? Knowing that like, this ain't nothing personal to you. But that's my own partner, so really understand what I'm saying. Don't touch somebody. Don't go meet a lot of people right now in the public. Do not go meet a lot, because there's certain sensitivities that are integrating in our bodies. They're meeting from the future and our past, and they're meeting in the middle, and they're integrating. And this is a tremendous wisdom. But you don't want to cloud that right now because water is very absorptive. Can absorb anything you put. Right? So when I look at the full moon, that's my personal recommendation. You take that how you want to take it. For everybody listening, definitely give her a thumbs up while you're watching this video. Meanwhile, so that's the full moon in a nutshell. Right? Okay, now I'm going to give a quick rundown in the next 10 minutes, because we got about an hour today, of each rising sign. So take a breath, everybody. I want you to just expand your belly, because I just give you a lot of information, but if you take the breath, you'll absorb that without even trying. Open your belly first, don't inhale. And now softly, quietly, breathe air into your belly. Notice my chest does not move. You heard no noise. And I want you to think of Kundalini. When you exhale, squeeze your butt and then bring that air up your spine, past your throat. and out through the head. I'm going to take one more. We're going to expand our belly. I'm going to inhale. I'm going to squeeze my glutes, and that's going to be the pressure that brings it all the way up. Boom, past my heart, healing the heart, past the throat, healing the throat. Beyond the third eye, seeing the vision, out to the crown, understanding the entire lesson. Okay. So from here, just let your shoulders relax, let your ears just melt, let your eyes get heavy, and just take it easy. Okay, Cancer. I'm sorry. Aries. I'm gonna start Aries. I'm gonna go down a little quick forecast to Pisces. I want everybody in the chat, drop your rising sign. Okay, if I happen to see it, which is hard from the distance that I'm at this phone, I'll try to give a little extra emphasis. So drop your rising sign, get these comments up, get that engagement up, and give her some love. If you really rock with Carly on this channel, go ahead and make sure you expand that energy. Understand there's power when we come together. Okay, ladies and gentlemen.
If we go over 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock on my time, our video is going to shut off. So we got 8 minutes.
I'm going to give them the speed run. Okay, here we go. Okay. Aries, 4th house, and call me on it. Okay, call me on it. Aries, 4th house. This is about you really dealing with family matters. You're starting to recognize that your emotions and your career, flip-flop between the two, that your emotions, your career has been driving force during this whole Capricorn season, but your emotions matter. Take time and space out to really feel into your emotions and understand what friendship looks like to you today, as well as what social peers are getting cut as you become this new form of yourself. Done. Taurus. 3rd house, Taurus, Cancer moon. What you're looking at right now is being able to be willing to communicate, study, and learn something that you may have even integrated abroad, information from a completely different culture than your own. It is contributing to how you value your public image and the ways in which you make money in your bank account. You are getting tremendous lessons from above and beyond. Done. Gemini, you're now in the 2nd house. In the 2nd house, again, you're getting money, but the money you're getting is all about the energetic investment that you have been making and how you have been valuing certain cultures that are different than your own. It's making you cut through who you once were and you're becoming a new version. Done. Cancer, you're now looking at the 1st house. You are to start a show. Your personality, your boldness, your courage is all rising and elevating, especially in your relationship with other people. Love, business, platonic, and otherwise. You are now intimately listening to your guides and integrating that blessing back into yourself. Done. Leo, you're going to the 12th house. These are divine lessons and blessings, and it's going to help you reshape how, keyword, you do the work you do, and how, keyword, you take care of your body and yourself, your self-care habits and rituals, especially in relations to other people. Done. Virgo, you're going through the 11th house. This is your hopes and your dreams really coming into fruition. It's coming to fruition. It's asking you to go ahead and have fun and let the mind go. Take care of yourself in a new way. You actually know how already. You've been given that, and your friends have reflected that back to you. Done. Libra, you're going through the 10th house transit. It's opposite of Aries. Your career is really coming into a full intuition. And now you're publicly showing yourself from the work you've done in private behind the scenes. Done. Scorpio, you might be really taking a trip abroad. I see you going potentially to a different country. If you do not, you should go ahead and look at what that looks like and what it costs. In the meanwhile, talk to some friends, and they're going to help you understand what's happening in your own mind and actually relieve and cut through some psychological trauma. Done. Sagittarius, you're going through the 8th house. You're seeing through the occult. Okay, psychologically, you are being motivated to go ahead and make some chicken, make some money right now, and there are so many things working for you. All right, but you got to be real with yourself and see what you see and don't deny it. Done. Capricorn, 7th house, partnerships, kind of just like Cancer in a lot of ways. You're going ahead and you're making some cuts, okay? What those cuts look like is, again, in the relationships. You're cutting friends out, you're cutting people out, you're cutting connections out that are not supportive to your success in your career space, but also in love. Done. Aquarius, you're now sixth house. What the sixth house looks like for you is, again, taking care of yourself. And the opposite way of Leo, okay, you are really getting ready to go into, you're coming out of a very dark space. You're coming out of a subconscious programming. Done. Okay, Pisces, finally, fifth house for you. What this looks like is go ahead and have fun, but you're getting ready to go into the dark. You're going into the subconscious programmings, and that is going to help you really align with yourself at an ego level as a sign that does not have a big ego in the first place. Done.
Wow. That was so good.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna let you make your time cuts. You know, anybody that wants to do that further, obviously just check out my channel, check out the link in my bio. And, you know, I run memberships on this. I teach astrology in membership format. So you have a community backdoor. And I want to say thank you, Carly, for inviting me.
Yeah, thank you for doing this. That was amazing. And the whole time you were doing that, I had like influxes of chills. And for some reason, specifically when you were talking about Cancer, and I'm a Capricorn, I'm a moon sign Aquarius, and I'm a Gemini rising. So I don't really look into Cancer very much. But when you were talking about Cancer, it was like.
Because that's your shadow frequency. Cancer is your shadow frequency. It's the opposite sign of Capricorn. So okay. That's your shadow frequency. That's when your dream came up, that's the shadow work. Cancer is your shadow work.
All right, good to know.
I'll see you all. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you. Yes. Enjoy your Cancer full moon. Take some rest and rejuvenate, y'all. You know, really be private during this time, and you're going to get the best blessings.
Yes. Thank you, everybody, for being on here. Thank you. Let's do this again. Maybe me, you, and Neeraj can all do something sometime. And possible. Get on your YouTube, do something cool, because we got
Let's get it going.
Connection.
Absolutely. Big love. Thank you for having me.
Big love. Okay. Thank you. I'll talk to you later.
Super.
Bye, everybody.